So I have to confess, I have tried several times to do this vid, just on this one article come video alone from STV News on their Facebook channel, yeah? And the title is Congestion Charges Could Be Brought In for Drivers Entering Edinburgh City Centre. And, you know, they make the example that at the moment, London is the only city in the UK to have introduced a congestion charge. Now, I remember years ago I was saying, they won't be the last. And obviously not a lot of people were listening. And I know I apparently have made the mistake of emphasising Agenda 21 as opposed to Agenda 2030 or whatever other pesh, because people have been programmed like updates, the latest, whatever else, you know, any older information, oh, well, it's no longer required. It's all about updating in the latest, right? And the trouble with that is the rollout of Agenda 21 is on steroids now. And people still do not make the connection that it's still about Agenda 21. Now, in this instance, you know, you look at Edinburgh, right, which used to be so successful because Edinburgh has always been, for those of us old enough to remember, it's almost been like a town, a village in comparison to London as regards population. And yet, and honestly, there was at one stage in Edinburgh, only a couple of decades ago, you could be out it in 15 minutes. Right, honestly, funnily enough, 15 to 20 minutes, you could be out in Edinburgh. Couple of decades ago. No bloody problem at all. That was one of the great things about Edinburgh. You could come in from places nearby, like Dalkeith, 7 miles outside, go in, get some whatever clothing, food, shoes, whatever, right? Stop for 5 or 10 minutes without a care in the world, no having to worry about traffic wardens and all the rest of it, plenty parking, large amounts of roads, all the rest of it, and ability to traverse across a capital city with ease. Now, I mean, I saw it in the 90s, this influx of this, so many more traffic wardens. No, not specifically to Edinburgh. You could see it being rolled out across the UK. And remember, it was about, keeping traffic moving. But at the same time, what they were doing, even then, back in the 90s, I remember a guy called, what was his name? Professor Begg, yeah? In fact, I typed in Professor Begg, Edinburgh Roads. All they're telling you about is what he's doing now. But back in the 90s, late 90s, he had managed to convince, apparently, you know, this puppet Mason, obviously, the fact... Look, I'm fairly confident that guy's a Mason, right? But he managed to say, do you know what? To make Edinburgh better, let's narrow the roads, let's block off many roads and expand the pavements, right? Ever since then, Edinburgh has gone to shit in the bloody basket, right? The only thing that's made it survive so well up until now was its well-deserved status as an embracing, welcoming city that had so much going for it. And from memory, even up till recently, second only to London as regards the amount of eateries, restaurants. From memory also, apparently one of the highest, if not the highest at the time, place in the UK for having the sheer amount of libraries alone to head of population. So many phenomenal things about Edinburgh. Let's not forget the architecture, the history, a phenomenal place. But over the last few decades, the roads have turned into shit. Seriously. The amount of graffiti, all the rest of it, things not being done. Yeah? It costs you at least, what was it, parking charges Edinburgh now? 8, 9, 10 quid an hour. 8 or 9 or 10 quid an hour. Yeah? Then they brought in the ULEZ. Any car that's not compliant, 60 quid. But if you pay it in 14 days, 30 quid. Yeah? But London's been the only place so far with a congestion charge. And I remember even a few years ago saying it won't be the last. And here we are. Congestion charges could be brought in for drivers entering Edinburgh city centre. And this thing, it doesn't tell you what they're talking about price-wise on this. So you type it in, congestion charges could be brought in for drivers entering Edinburgh city centre. One says $3.50 a day, and of course that, as soon as people go, yeah, okay, I'll do that, it'll just go up and up and up. Some say £2 a day. Either way, as soon as you fucking say, yeah, okay, it's just going to go up and up and up. And that, look, it still ties into the goals of Agenda 21. If you were even to type in businesses, things like that, businesses, Edinburgh, amount of independent businesses that have shut down over the last few years is astounding. Absolutely astounding. But so many people just don't make the connection. So rather than bleat on, wait, look, I'll give you some of the propaganda under fair use. Let me just play you this.
I think it's already very difficult to kind of drive in Edinburgh, so I think it would probably make it a lot more difficult. I don't drive personally, but from the people that I do know, they always have a complaint.
I've got no issue with them. I'm a driver, I'm a cyclist as well.
I'm interested in what this guy does for a living and what his connections are. Yeah?
Oh, but yeah, it is congested.
It's congested because Professor Begg said, you know what? Let's narrow the roads, let's expand pavements, let's block off many roads, and start charging. If you've got a car, we'll start putting lines around it all over central Edinburgh. And if you've got a car, you're going to have to pay a set fee depending on the area within Edinburgh. X amount of, hundreds of pounds a year, and what car, CO2 levels, all the rest of it. Now, for the rich, they can just swallow it. Life goes on. But for the vast majority of us, it doesn't. Yeah? I remember what was Simon Cowell, London, when the ULEZ thing, he's like, oh no, not only ULEZ, we should bring in other things. It's one off a dog's back to guys like that. It's a tax write-off. Yeah? But yeah, if you're not listening to people like me, I recommend a guy that's not done vids in years. I was doing vids long before him, but this guy was turning up to various events and warning people about Agenda 21. About Agenda 21. Yeah? So I'm going to leave you a link to Grindall. Yeah, it's up to you. You want to subscribe. But you know what I'm going to call this? A shout out to grindall61. The rest is up to you. But you've been given all the fucking detail. The fact that this poor guy has given up doing vids. I can see why. Abso-fucking-lutely. Seriously. People, honestly, many people are just not what they were. And believe me, they'll be sucking their fucking thumbs soon enough to where this all goes. Yeah? The 15-minute cities, the 20-minute neighbourhoods, yeah? The Chinese-style social credit score, and then dictating what you eat and what you can't eat, even if you're wealthy. Unless, of course, you're a senior occultist. Anyway, I hope this vid's been useful. Subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.